Jambo, hello, welcome everyone in our today's episode, No Plastics for Lent campaign, where we get to feature what's happening around climate justice, climate action activities right here in Kenya. My name is Maro Maua, a high-level champion for climate action, but also a volunteer working with the Kenya Evangelical Lutheran Church. In Kenya, there are a number of things that we do around the entire subject of climate justice and climate action locally, regionally, and also internationally. But specifically today, I want to exhaust a few issues that we have managed to capture and to do with the help of the government and of course the community. So all our activities are tailored around the international dialogues that normally happen each year in the COP summits that basically revolve around loss and damage, adaptation and mitigation. In Kenya, we have been adversely affected by many things around the sphere of climate-related hazards, but many among them include the severe drought that we still continue to see to date and experience. We have issues with drought that is forcing most communities have to see the issue of famine, the prolonged drought. We have issues revolving around water insecurity, the severe floodings. So all these issues leave our community with what we call livelihoods unsustainability, that their livelihoods are robbed. And most of our communities in our demographic region, most of our congregants and the areas where our church has got roots in have been affected by the things I've just mentioned. But these are people who are pastoralists. These are youths who are trying to fend for themselves. These are youths who have been affected by lack of jobs. So the issue is, how does the church come in and what do we do as the youth? So in the church, there are two departments that I work in as a volunteer. Number one, the youth department, and number two, the diaconia department. And our activities, basically, number one, we ensure that there is something to do with biodiversity restoration and conservation. Now, this includes all the activities that entail the planting of trees, the planting of mangrove forests, because we also have to restore our oceanic vegetation cover, but we also have to do things like land reclamation, where we plant trees. But we not just plant trees, we also empower the youth to making sure that these trees that they plant also give them the means of sustainability. And number two, we normally do a lot of work that has to do with community empowerment and also community capacity building. And now this include the tremendous trainings that we do to the community time to time. We may have issues that touch with the workshops that we do. We have issues that deal with like the purchasing of mangrove forests, like you recently saw when I visited Mukupe leadership, where we had to purchase our mangrove forest from them. Now, these are the few issues that we do here in Kenya. The question is, who do we work with? Number one, we basically work with the government through the public-private partnership. The church has worked closely with the government to ensure that our congregants and the local community at large is well covered. And this comes in where the government has to train the congregants. In areas where there is no water, the church has gone to that level, and the church has had to drill boreholes, but the church has to work closely with the government for such things to effectively come to being. And number two, we have time to time distributed food items and sanitary items to areas that have had to experience severe flooding. We've had to distribute foods through the aid of our international partners. And the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America has greatly impacted the lives of the people living in Kenya through donations and the aid. We also have other international partners like the Lutheran World Federation that continues to touch the lives of the people living here in Kenya. But number two, again, we work with the local community. That is the leadership of the youth groups like the Mkupe I've just mentioned. We have the Shanzu Duathlon that I went around the ocean area, and we had to cycle together and make sure that we have no plastics. We have the young story, the good story of the rocker bags, where we get to donate to them the redundant billboard banners, and they use it in turn to recycle, so that we do not end up throwing plastics into and polluting our environment. These, among many, are examples of the work that is going on here and around Kenya. I think I've covered every other thing that I wanted to talk about and say, but much more so. The last thing that I need to mention is the issue of the private sector. The fight against climate change has to involve both the public, the private sector, and the non-private sector, where we get to feature for example, the chairman of the Kenya Manufacturers Association. We have a round table with them, we talk and we see how best we can partner together. We have representatives of the non-private sectors, including Madam Regina. These are the people whom we sit down with, come up with policies together, and we see how best we can act together as a community. Lastly, the role, as I did mention before, the role of our international partners, from local geared initiatives, we go all the way from regional initiatives. Then we have the international, where now bodies like the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America, the LWF, both the youth fraternity and the clergy at large come, and we cooperate together and see how best we can touch the communities. I've been yours in our today's episode for No Plastics for Lent this year, and I hope this message cuts across every part of the world, from Kenya, Mombasa to the world. My name is Maro Maua, a high-level champion for climate action. Thank you so much.